so one of the themes that was present in this book, I mean, it's pretty evident, was redemption. And I mean, basically, Amir, when he watched Hassan get raped, and he didn't do anything about that, his coward nature, that was like a big part of this book that kind of pissed me off. I don't know about you guys. And then he was able to redeem himself later. I mean, you guys can talk about that too.
I think that in the beginning of the book, Amir was like the one that everyone hated when you read about it, right? Yeah. But then you have Hassan, who is good in like almost every way. He's so much better than Amir, and he's the one who has to suffer more than Amir because he's lower class, which I don't think is fair exactly. And then Amir takes advantage of that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Especially when like the rape happened, I actually hated Amir, and I thought he was a coward, and everything he was saying about himself, I agreed with him. But I guess the main question is like, do you think towards the end of the book, do you think he redeemed himself and came back from being a coward and was able to like restore his name and kind of pay back Hassan?
I don't think Amir ever fully redeemed himself, but I think he made a good effort. I don't think he fully redeemed himself because he was a coward. I don't think he ever got over that. Because like he was kind of forced to go like fight SF. Like he didn't have a choice. Like he was scared, He wouldn't have done it if like they wouldn't have told him.
I mean, for me, I kind of felt that he did redeem himself because in the end, like he was able to adopt or take care of Sorab and basically, I guess, give him a better childhood than he would have in Kabul.
But that's that's only because he had to. Like he didn't want to take like that. He was forced to take Sorab in because there was nothing.
I don't think he was forced to. There were a lot of points in the novel where I hated Amir, where I thought he was just a bad person. The last one, I think, was when he was in Pakistan and he was talking to Rahim, and he says no, he won't go into Afghanistan to save this kid. I don't remember if he knew at that point that it was his nephew, but he didn't want to do it. But he left, and he ended up going back, and he decided on his own that he would do it. I don't think he was forced to. So,
well, one of the things I noticed from it is even if he did voluntarily go and help and take in Sarab and go to rescue him from his country, he went in thinking he was going to take him out and put him in an orphanage. He didn't necessarily think, oh, I'm going to take this kid, he's going to become my son because I'm related to him and I owe this to Hassan. He did it because, I forget his name, but he asked him to do it for him and just deliver him to an orphanage, not actually take him in. So in a way, I think it kind of was a little selfish.
Yeah, I didn't think of it in that light, but I mean, I still do. I guess now I do have more respect for Amir than I did at the beginning of the book, which is something that, is, I guess, a big transition for him throughout the novel.
I mean, yeah, Amir, as I said, he was always a coward, but you can see how he progressed, like, through the whole novel, and he, like, felt bad, and I think, like, his guilt, like, Baba's guilt, when they say Baba's guilt turned into something good, like, because of his guilt, he tried to, like, rid himself of sin by, like, making an orphanage, and I think that his guilt drove him to save, like, to adopt Sarab. Does that make sense? Like he didn't do it because he wanted to. Like he did it to like kind of like take away his guilt.
I don't think so. I think that he cared a lot about Sarab because like when Sarab tries to commit suicide, he's so upset, and it's not like he's upset because he's not going to have the chance to redeem himself. He's upset because he's attached to his nephew. I think it's a real like family connection, like a real overcoming his cowardice and just overall bad traits. I think that he overcame it in the end.
And another thing I noticed was he kind of like Amir kind of let go of his, I guess, elite status, which you kind of like see when he always puts down Hassan after he envisions or he sees the rape. Basically, like I saw that when he flies a kite with Sorab, and once they cut the kite, he goes run it down for them, which is something he wouldn't do before. That was something that Hassan would do for him. So kind of like a turn of the generation.
Like what you said that Amir would take advantage of Hassan. I feel like he did that not only because he could, because Hassan had like undying loyalty, but it was also like because he was motivated, like out of his own insecurities, he like put Hassan down, and he was always jealous of like Hassan's and Baba's relationship. And I think that's why he did what he did.
I think that one of the important parts of the novel is evident with how people are good or bad. It's not that you're a bad person if you do bad things. It's if you do bad things and you don't realize that you're doing bad things. Like you think they're good. Like Hassan, what he did all the time. With everyone, like with the murder and the massacre everywhere. I think that he was truly a bad person. Amir was able to learn.
Yeah.
And get better.
Another controversial like character in the story is Baba. Like you see that Baba can from 1 second go from like willing to die for a stranger to then almost killing somebody with his own hands. So it's like, I don't know, like he's like a good person, but then like he does these things that are questionable. And also it's like the question like, was he a good father or was he not? Like I think he always like kept a distance from Amir because he wanted him to stand on his own. But Amir never learned, like never realized that and thought it was out of like, because Baba hated him and like blamed him for the mother's death, when I don't think it was because of that.
Yeah, I mean, expanding upon that, like, Baba always wanted him to be, I guess, more individualistic, and he wanted him to stand up for himself. And basically, he thought, or I guess Amir thought that he would be doing that by winning the kite tournament. And in the end, you know, he, I guess, was so consumed by this idea that by winning the kite tournament, I'm going to win the trust of my father, that he basically, I mean, he just watched his best friend, his only friend, to getting raped. And as a result of that, he basically went against what his dad wanted him to, I guess, learn as a child. So that was something.
Well, I think one thing that explains why Baba might have been so unpredictable with the way he would like treat other people is because he kind of established really early on how he has his own set of morals different from that of the general population there, because most of them went along with the religion, what the religion said had to go. But Baba established his whole like system of morals based off of how he said theft is the only sin you can commit and everything else is just a form of that. And I think that kind of explains kind of the way he lived his life, and part of the reason that Amir acts so poorly when he finds out that he lied to him about Hassan, because that's breaking, he said it broke his number one moral and everything that he stood for. So it kind of just took Amir's world and turned it upside down when he found out that the person who was teaching him the way to live his life didn't live it by the rules he set for him.
I think that was maybe the turning point for Amir. Like, he realized, like I was saying earlier, that you can still be a good person even if you've done bad things, as long as you redeem yourself. Which I don't think that was his goal in the novel, to redeem himself, but I think effectively he did.
And I think by moving to America, that was kind of like the point where he basically started his new life and he could forget about what happened in Kabul and, you know, I guess start a family. Well, he couldn't really, but you know, he ended up meeting Soraya, and he lives pretty much what seems could be a happy life.
What I also noticed was that, like at the beginning, like everyone, what I picked up from the novel is that Afghanistans are really like concerned about their image and like what others say about them, and like I feel like at the beginning Amir like was ashamed of Hassan. He could not even call him like a friend. And then at the end of the story, when they were questioning about Surab, like what they would say to the other Afghans, he told them to tell the truth, and like that shows that he didn't no longer cared what they thought.
Right. Yeah.